trust me if you know, life will become held to the power of 2. I mean, in one lifetime itself, we are not able to handle things properly with the problems that we have. If you start looking at the past life, current relationships are different there. Maybe same jivas were there, but today's son could be yesterday's enemy. Today's wife could be yesterday's something else. Same jiva in a different body. So, out of grace, out of mercy on us, God has put a break in memory. But since the scriptures, since the Maharshis who have figured this out, have given us this distilled wisdom and knowledge, our wisdom is to accept that and utilize it properly, instead of trying to figure out, like I said, somebody wants to walk to India from California, definitely possible. If he's able to swim the oceans and walk, and maybe after 10 years he will reach. But the wisdom is in getting to the airport, taking a flight and reaching.
You mentioned about 5,127 years. Is there any basis to that?
Krishna. After Krishna left his physical body, when he was physically available, Kali Yuga had already dawned in. This Yuga started. But it could not show the impact because of such a great personality's physical presence on earth. The moment he left, it started to show its true personality. So after Krishna left was the calculation.
So I have a question. The Mahabharata is an epic story. What is the proof that there was Krishna, that there was a war?
People who have seen them have described it, and that is the proof. What is the proof that Baba existed? What is the proof that I am existing? What is the proof that I will wake up after tonight's sleep? There are not too many proofs for too many things. But as I said, the wisdom is to trust somebody who has already seen this. If I go to grade 1 in the school, I'm trusting the teacher to teach me well so I can pass my exams. In a similar way, if you trust somebody who has already seen God, experienced, interacted with Krishna, I'm talking about Mr. Vedavyasa, who has written the story. So it's a real event that has happened. So it is not mythology, it's not a myth. Indian history is not mythology, but it is actually history. And they say that, the other day I was posting in a group also, Krishna is historical, Rama is proto-history, and Rudra is ancient, prehistory. So these are real events that have happened. Now, if we start with that trust and assumption that it has really happened, there is a way you can experience Krishna even today. Physically, subtle levels, any way you want. There is a
When you're saying that wisdom is where we have to rely on the wisdom that's available to us. If you see the wisdom as it's more of Shruti for us, when it is changing from generation to generation, there's an extra layers being added. So how do we know the actual from what has been added?
So the tattva behind the Puranas is true. Puranas might be distorted here and there. So if I'm a Shiva Bhakt, if I take Vishnu Purana, I will add Shiva word there instead of Vishnu, and vice versa. But the tattva still remains that both are Nirguna Brahman. Right? So the way it has been narrated could be slightly erroneous, but the actual events by themselves and the intelligence behind the events is truth and a fact. That's how we need to.
In any of the sadhanas, if we are taking, any of the sadhanas, if we take one particular way, the way our, I will not say Sanatana Dharma, but I would say the way we have all grown up is just follow what has been told to you. So when that follow what has been told to you as your sadhana techniques are there, many a times you really don't know it's an added flavor. or it is the actual.
Right. In my
How
7th
it is.
grade, my geography teacher told me that Earth is round. There's no way for me to prove it to myself, my logic, even if I elevate myself physically speaking. I have to trust that teacher, pass the exam. And if I really want to see the Earth from a different loka, I get into Dhyana Yoga and I see it. Same logic.
But the
So-
flavors are different from
Fla-
one to one.
Yeah,
So which flavor I have to pick?
whatever appeals to you. Whatever appeals to you, take it. Because all of them are equally incorrect or equally correct.
Yes. That's the way we are.
Doesn't matter. So there is no fixed formula that only if you do this you will attain God. Whatever you do with Shraddha and Saburi, you will get there. So what is Shraddha and Saburi?
So I have a question about karma. So in today's
That's my
age,
favorite subject actually.
what are called papa karmas and what can you call punya karma?
Whatever you do which hurts somebody is a papa karma. Whatever you do that can make somebody happy is a punya karma. Unknowingly, if you are hurting somebody, that is not a papa, that's a dosha.
Yes, sir.
Dosha, it's called dosh. So, since I'm from south, I would add a lot of M's to it. But you can remove that and
I ask this question because if you even try to read a little bit of Shastras, they have so many things in them, which I am definitely not following all of it. So would that constitute as, would that be considered as papa?
disrespecting that and negating its very existence and disrespecting people who are following it is papa.
No, it's not out of disrespect,
Yeah,
but it's
from a
because of the
subject point
change
of
of
view,
lifestyle or,
Right,
you know,
fair enough.
your
Not observing.
So the best thing what we can do today is, out of 100 recommended items, I will follow one. And I accept wholeheartedly that I'm not able to follow the rest 99, and I apologize for that mentally speaking. Then there is no dosha. Otherwise it will become a daiva doshanam itself, I mean abusing the God itself, because scriptures are nothing but God themselves.
right, right. But,
So in this day and age,
yeah,
like for example, simplest thing is light a lamp in the morning and evening.
right.
We may not be able to do elaborate pujas every day, but if you're just able to light a lamp in the morning and evening and pray to the light to spread Mahalakshmi in the house, that's good enough. With attitudinal respect to our great grandfathers who have created the Vedas. That's it.
So if you are able to live according to today's age, respecting what,
Yeah.
what is,
Respecting and acknowledging the fact that we are not
you
able
are not
to
able to
do everything,
completely, yeah.
that is fine. That is acceptable. Because there's no guarantee that if anybody follows all the Shastras, he'll get moksha.
Right,
That's exactly,
right, I mean,
that's exactly what I
but
was doing.
if you listen to some of the gurus, you know,
There are a lot of threads in them.
yeah, exactly. So,
So,
you kind of
Between
are
two
confused.
threads, there is wisdom. That's what we need to do. Yeah, there are more threads than motivations in Shastras.
I wanted to ask one question about karma. That okay, whatever happens, it happens because of your previous karma. How do you move on from something like that?
And now we very nicely come into the next subject, which is called dharma.
No.
Now, I am going through a pain. I accept that. After that, what do? What is my dharma? What is my swadharma? Am I supposed to sit back and take everything that comes to me? No. I have something called a self-respect. I have something called dignity. And I have a body, mind, and soul. So, with a combination of these three, I have to do swadharma. Child is not well. She's going through this pain because of her own karma. And I'm watching her suffering. And I'm going through certain suffering because of my karma. Acceptable, point number one. We don't stop there. This is where it is termed as philosophy and nothing, not appealing to daily life today. Because people stop there. We have to go to the next step, which is dharma. I give medicines. If it doesn't heal, I take her to a doctor. If necessary, to a ER. And then I do whatever logically, medically possible to cure her, treat her. That is my dharma. Apply this to every aspect of your life. This is my karma, but what is my dharma? And who tells you what is the dharma? What is dharma actually in the first place? It is said, Guruji says, appropriateness of thought, speech and action is dharma. Sometimes it is dharma to kill somebody. Sometimes it is dharma to save that person. So what is correct in that context, in that situation, is what we need to do. And so there's no rule book. I mean, we all know we should not lie, we should not do this, we should not do that. Those are simple things that were taught to us growing up. But in the true sense of the word, there is a dharma for everything. And this is the speciality of Sanatana Dharma, that it has figured out, it has debated, Tarka Shastra, it has figured out minutest level of dharma, let's say dharma between a husband and wife, dharma between the same wife and the children, wife and the parents, wife and the neighbors, wife and the friend circle. So for each relationship, for each circumstance, they have debated and come up with ways and means to understand what is dharma at each stage of our life, with each interaction of each person. That is the extent to which this has gone.
That mostly depends on the gravitational pull, where it's moved.
It's also predefined. I'll tell you why. I know you use the word symbolically. So why is a particular jiva or soul in our life today as a certain relationship? We are born to a certain parent, set of parents, not because of accident, but because of a reason. You get married to somebody because of a reason. You have certain jivas come to us as children because of a reason. What is the intelligence? What is the reason behind it? Out of those 7.5, 8 billion people that are there, why this particular jiva is mine? Because we owe that person so much. God gives an opportunity to clear our dues to that person by putting that person so closely in our relationship. So we can clear that. One example we talk about this here is, let's say legally speaking, in the past life, somebody put a case on you and he was right and you owed, let's say, 100 crores to that person. You fought a legal battle, used a lot of power and you won. So there is a man-made law and there is a divine law. According to man-made law, you won. But according to divine law, that was his property. That person is made to be born as your son in the next life with 100 crores in your bank balance, and you happily give it off to him. So that's how God's grace works. So voluntarily we should be able to do stuff, not by resistance. Right?
Isn't he so graceful?
Yes. So which aspect of, now quiz time, which aspect of God is grace? We have 3 principles of God, right? Which aspect is grace?
Dynamic.
Dynamic, yeah.
So static, nothing, no attributes to him. Witness is only sakshi, just watching. Dynamic has grace, has several.
Sakshi is more relevant because it makes you fear that whatever you do is being captured in a camera.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And if we, in isolation in a room, if we think that nobody is watching, there's no other ignorant person than him.
That's the one recording the karma, right?
That's the one recording the karma and giving that. I know we need to catch hold of him one day. So, I think it will be relevant for us to talk about, build about this now. Anybody looking for a better next life need to pray to dynamic principle because he is a responsive person. Anybody looking for mukti? Mukti is just conquering death, not moksha. You're not helplessly being born again because of bondage. You pray to the witness principle. Anybody looking for moksha needs to connect with the static principle.
I think my concept of moksha would be a succession of logical thinking.
Okay, so thinking is a faculty of mind. Right? Mind has a birth and death, which means anything that is born has to die. Right? Which means it is not the truth. Because what is permanent is only the truth.
No, logical thinking also helps you to do things right.
Right. Logical thinking helps us to reach to a stage which will help us stop logically analyzing. Till that stage, we need logic. After that, it is the fourth state called the Turiya state in dhyana, where it is not a sleepy state, it's not a dreaming state, it's not a wakeful state. Turiya state is where Baba used to be. Three-fourths of his attention was in the Turiya state while interacting with common public also. Only 1/4 of his attention was to the worldly things. Hence, he was able to give blessings like this. So our attempt should be to reach there using logic. So logic will help us sit down in meditation. But after that, what happens is a different story.
Yeah.
Right?
So
But-
continue.
Yeah, and
While doing meditation, all I could go is until that point of intellect, right? Knowledge, where I know it's a thought. Beyond that, there is knowledge. Right? After that, there is no concept of Baba for me, right? I'm not able to think. I'm staring at blanks or a light or whatever. Right? How do I know that I'm proceeding? Like, you're walking the way, right? And it's dark,
No, you cease to exist.
right? It's dark. You don't know, because in this current life or where I'm situated, there is no guidance of a physical guru or other than Baba. I don't know who's there. Somebody to guide, right? How does that happen?
first of all, if we have Baba, we don't need anybody else. And to confine a guru in a physical form is incorrect. He is not a human being. He is not embodied in a body. He is not somebody who lives with his body. That's not a guru. That's not definitely not a sadguru. So, where is he? He was in Shirdi. Now where is he? He is here. He is in us. So, as I said, he is a static witness and dynamic principles. So, your inner voice or your conscience is Baba. How will you hear to the inner voice? In meditation. When you silence your thoughts, when you silence your mind, the voice that comes in your own tone is Baba speaking. You have to attribute it like this.
So is that the intellect?
That's not the intellect.
Because there is a subtle difference.
There's a lot of
my
difference,
personal
yeah.
experience that I've been in, but sometimes you go beyond it, like a certain speck of a time, right? You can feel something. It is not the intellect.
Once intellect ceases to exist, once mind is at rest, that is when the spiritual sadhana starts. That may have happened for 1 or 2 seconds in a session of half an hour, and that is very good. Your inner voice, if you're attributing it to Baba, it will continue to guide not just this life, but in the future lives also. But you should start your sadhana with a sankalpa. Sankalpa is a decided thought. If you start your sadhana without a sankalpa, like you need to have an end goal in mind, right? The GPS also we put where we need to reach. So, and that is dynamic, that can change. So you figure out as to, okay, this is the menu card of life that I have. I want to have a better life, I want to have a worse life, I want to get mukti, I want to get moksha, I want to merge into Baba, I want to, whatever you pick. Let that be a dominating thought and start your sadhana with that sankalpa. That sankalpa will work like a GPS, and we call GPS as a guru positioning system. And that will guide you. Even if you take a wrong route, it will reroute you to the freeway again. There is no escaping that. It is all that we need to do is respect GPS and drive accordingly. If you say that I'll just take the opposite direction, it will not do anything. It will keep directing all the time. Lot of Shraddha and Sabri from his side to us. The amount of patience that God has towards us is immense. Right? And he says, just have a little 1% of what I have for you. We'll talk about meditation in the next session. It's a good subject.
So is the goal that you're
Maybe a
saying?
few words.
Sorry?
Few words on meditation.
We'll get.
Yeah,
The
few words.
highlights.
And the pranayamas.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. So meditation also always should precede with pranayama. Without pranayama, meditation is not effective. In meditation, what we are trying to do, the objective, is to connect with the witness principle and the dynamic principle inside us. The biggest bottleneck or biggest barrier of meditation is expectation. If you're expecting something to happen after you sit, that's a barrier. So all that we need to do as individuals, whatever meditation has been taught to us, whatever prana has been taught to us by whoever, just all that we need to do is sit and do it. After that, what happens inside or whatever doesn't happen inside is immaterial to us. Bottleneck of the progress in meditation is expectation.
Yes.
Expectations. Expecting that something will happen or will not happen. Thoughts will come or not come. That is a bottleneck. So, meditation, the purpose of meditation is to experience the truth that we are trusting in. We spoke about trust. We spoke about the fact that the Maharshis have figured out the entire life and afterlife and given us on a platter, given that knowledge in a platter, right? We are trusting them. With that trust, we start meditation, and experiencing of that truth is given in meditation. The knowledge is experience of information. If we are not experiencing any information, it is not knowledge, it's just piece of data. But unless we experience, Baba is gracious, one point. Unless we experience that, our mind will not be set there. So experiencing His grace can be attained through meditation. So there was I think in the break we were talking some practical aspects of day-to-day living, especially when it comes to our own pain, our own suffering, or people that we love when they go through pain and suffering. Like I said in the previous session, we have to first respect and accept that it is a karmic event. Right? There itself, 50% of the problem is solved. Because what we are doing is we are aligning ourselves with the God's working principle. God made law, we are following ourselves. Second is dharma. What is my dharma that I'm supposed to? What is my duty? Logically, whatever we need to do, we need to do. Parallelly, pray to the deity that we have a lot of trust and faith in. Leave the result of your action to His final judgment. Two things happen. One, you are making Him get involved in your life. He'll say, because He can see our thoughts, right? He can read our thoughts. He'll say, I am a witness principle at this time in Him. But He's saying, I am attributing the result of your action, of my action to Him. Then He will start becoming a dynamic principle inside of us. He'll start taking actions. It takes that form of dynamism. So far attitudinal, so far God who didn't have an attitude, we are creating an attitude from His side to us. So God who does not have an attitude can be given an attitude by us towards Him. That's called utilizing God properly. If all this half a day of our meeting, one takeaway would be that we need to learn how to use God properly.
I got it.
Yeah, your God only. We have to utilize Him properly. If this is understood, everything else will fall in place. Any questions on this practical living aspects? Because day to day, after we wake up in the morning, nobody will think about dynamic and static and witness principles. I have to fill gas in my car and drive to work. That is one issue. So
Yes,
like
yes.
that,
And as soon as open, they will see smartphone or they are not seeing
smartphone, WhatsApp, how many messages have come,
The dharma for me might not be
dharma for somebody else.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
the
a
action,
conflict in that.
right?
And if that person is a spouse, then it's an issue.
Yeah, that's what that's the fun that I was making, but there is always a receiving side of dharma, the action that you take. Right? How do you know that sometimes you are not always conscious on what actions we make? When a karma has happened, we have to take an action. That action has impact on somebody else. Right? What is it as this human, what is it I have to do or at least be conscious of so that the person who is being receiving this is gracefully, given that action?
If you're a follower of Baba, what you do is, you imagine Baba in that person's heart center. Invoke Baba in him or her and say that I'm going to take this action which will impact this person. I don't want it to be negative. I want it to be positive. So whatever I do, I'm doing it not merely out of a personal selfish reason, but I have his or her interests also in mind. So if it is right, let it happen. If it is wrong, stop me. And tell me that this is wrong. I will stop. As far as that person is concerned, whatever I do, you are in her also, you are in him also. Make sure that person receives happiness and peace because of my action. If you attribute these things to God, you are utilizing him properly, you are using him properly. And he is available to be used. The problem is we are not using him properly. So just attribute your action and the result and the happiness to him. Somebody is not being nice to us all the time. You have to pray for that person's happiness. If the person is happy, he will not abuse. In relationships. So life is all about relationships and circumstances, these two things only. So in relationships, if somebody is being abusive, invoke the God in him. Talk to the God in him, mentally speaking. Imagine God inside that person. Say, you are the indweller in that jiva, in that person. So please give him peace and happiness. If that person is at peace or is happy, he will stop troubling you from that moment. How long does it take? One statement, one prayer is enough for a lifetime. But behind that one statement and prayer, you should have 100% faith. Till we reach that 100% faith stage, we have to keep practicing this. Closed eyes, open eyes, imagine that person, imagine Baba inside him, invoke Baba in him, saying that please give me peace. That's how you change. Because their change is not dependent on our efforts sometimes. But it is definitely possible by God to make that change.
So how important is, like, suppose I'm a teacher, I do all my chantings in the car. So how important is chanting, Nam Smaran? Somebody told me that you don't need to chant, you can just, you start with your morning, say good morning Swami, make sure things with talking constant. Is that equivalent to chanting, or chanting has some other effects, and how, and will it help getting moksha?
Right, moksha, definitely. So in fact, in Kali Yuga, so there were these previous yugas, right? Some people used to stand on one toe, 1 foot for 100 years, do namaskaram towards the sky, and just keep do that kind of a sadhana in the previous yugas. Today it's not possible. Physically we are not capable of doing those things. Namasmarana has been recommended to be the most effective for moksha. Why? Because it's the easiest available to everybody. The best path towards moksha is defined as something which everybody can follow. In dhyana, if I'm supposed to keep my spine erect and sit for 3 hours together, not everybody can do that. But Namasmarana, everybody can do. Hence, it is supposed to be the best path to moksha. Namasmarana does not have restrictions. It's not a diksha. There's no hygiene required. It's an aspect of buddhi to consciousness. It has nothing to do with the body.